and optimizing of databases across AWS, Azure, and GCP environments.
Mm-hmm.
In my current role as senior associate in cloud infrastructure at Jati Private Limited, I have successfully led a major enterprise migrations, including MySQL to PostgreSQL migration for Mahindra Teco and TWC customers. Apart from this, like my day-to-day activities include providing the database administrative act support for the multiple customers like Hero MotoCorp, Pidilite, TCI, Bajaj.
Mm-hmm.
So there, where I am providing the database administration support like for the multiple cloud environments like AWS, Azure, and GCP. Before this, at Procify and Maventic Innovative Solutions, I designed secure, scalable AWS architecture for their web application,
Mm-hmm.
and as well as like I
Yeah.
used to handle the like database administration in for the MySQL and the Postgres in for that company. So overall, I bring a strong combination of the cloud infrastructure as well as the like database administration. Thank you. That's it.
Okay. So
That's all
you
about me.
okay. So you work on data migration, right?
Yeah.
So you've done from MySQL to SQL or Postgres to SQL.
I have done the data migration for MS SQL to Postgres, data migration as well as the procedure conversion and other things.
So what are the challenges you have faced and how you resolve this issue from migrating MS SQL to PostgreSQL?
See, for migrating the MS SQL to Postgres, what we have done is like we have used the AWS SCT schema conversion tool, so which will convert the schema and as well as the procedure conversion as well. Procedure conversion it will not do completely, so it will be just converting some part of the syntax and there will be syntax errors. So that code refactoring everything we have done manually, and we have used the since everywhere like AI is getting popular, so that's where like we have used it. We have taken help from the AI also, to resolve some issues. And for the data migration part, we have used the AWS DMS. Using the AWS DMS, we have migrated the data. And coming to the challenges,
Mm-hmm.
since MS SQL and Postgres both are different databases, so obviously like, there is a syntax differences, and
Mm-hmm.
also there are feature differences as well. So one of the major challenge what we can say is we have a pivot function in the MS SQL which is not directly supported in the Postgres. So that's where we have gone with the ERF, this one. There is one extension called cross-tab. So using the cross-tab extension, like we have implemented the pivot logic. So that is one of the thing. And there is one more thing like we have a like multiple we can get like let's say we are having a procedure which is giving three outputs, three select queries, and when we execute it will give three different outputs.
Mm-hmm.
So same multi output is not supported in the Postgres, so that's where we have gone with the ref cursors. So since a customer wanted the same in the single procedure they wanted all the three logics to three select queries to be present, so that's where we went on with the ref cursors, and then we have implemented like that.
How about the procedures and functions?
Yeah, procedure and functions, that's where still these two challenges. And main thing is in the MS SQL if for the procedure it will give the output. In case of the like Postgres, like we it will not give any output. It will be mainly used for the insert or update operation. So if you have any select query, like what we have done is like we have the procedure in the MS SQL which is converted to the function as a function in the PostgreSQL. So that's how like we have done it. And also for the and also PostgreSQL will have this when it is a case sensitive insensitive or sensitive, I guess. So like what is like if whatever the let's say we are having a anything in the capital letters and small letters, it will automatically convert into the lower case actually. So that's where we have apart from the data, we have converted everything to the lower case so that it won't cause any issues.
Okay. So mainly you work on MySQL or Postgres?
MySQL and Postgres both.
Both means you have a 5 years experience on both MySQL and Postgres, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how much you rate your being a MySQL DB and Postgres out of 10?
See, MySQL, I can say compared to Postgres, so MySQL I can say the primary one because even though I have experience in both, So like more like majority part, like we have the MySQL servers. That's where like I can rate myself in the MySQL 7 or 8, I can say, and Postgres 6 and 7.
Okay. Uh, okay. Only you have done migration, right? Anything
Not
else
only
like highway to DR something?
like apart from the migrations, like we as I mentioned, like I'm providing the database administration support, which will include the database administrative task as well as the upgradations, so this kind of activities. And also like I have done the DR setup for the MySQL and Postgres in the AWS. So what we have done is like using the backups, we have done the DR setup. So we have a AWS backup one service is it. Using that, like we have taken the AWS RDS and Aurora snapshots. We are taking the point in time recovery, and we are as well as like we are storing in a different region, so that in case of anything happens to the current region, we will be having the backups in the different region which is stored, so that like we can retrieve that kind of DR setup we have implemented.
Okay. So as you are working on both MySQL and Postgres, so what interact you in Postgres basically? What are the features you see in the Postgres that interact you to work on that?
See, Postgres like one feature which I can say is like one is MVCC, which is fully supported in Postgres, as well as like we have a schema concept in the Postgres. Like we can have a database inside the databases, we can have the multiple schemas. So which I feel like which is very good a feature which we can use for the applications, because in case of MySQL, like we'll be having a either schema or database both are same. Like we'll be having only like want to clear the tables, like create the tables for example, like we'll be creating in a single database. But in case of Postgres, we can have a different, we can, let's say, like we are having an application where you can segregate into modules, like login module. After
Mm-hmm.
that, there is so another module. So we'll be having, we can uh, like divide into the modules, and we can store the tables accordingly, whether it can be tables, whether it can be procedures. We can store separately, and we can have the cross schema communication, which is compared to the like having the tables everything in a single schema, and then communicating. So like if you have a multi schema, and so the performance is better, so that is which is I felt like that is better.
So this is not possible in MySQL, right?
MySQL it is not possible. Like we'll be having we should be having a different databases, and then cross databases communication is possible, but within a single database we can have multiple schemas in the Postgres. That is not possible in the MySQL.
Okay. So backup and restore and okay. So you have experience on cloud, right? So which
Yeah.
cloud? AWS and GCP, right?
AWS, I'm having experience in the both for the RDS, Aurora databases, as well as the infrastructure as well. But in case of GCP and Azure, I have mainly worked only with the databases part.
Okay. So in G8, no, sorry, GCP, can you explain that is what is performance insight and query insight? Have you seen this?
Yeah, like I have worked for one of the customer, like which I mentioned, like my MS equal to PostgreSQL migration. So that was from the AWS to GCP migration. So during that time, like we have deployed in a cloud SQL in the Postgres as a cloud SQL in the GCP. So basically, performance insights is used to like which performance is what it will do is like it will monitor the database, and it will be like providing the some statistics like what is the long running queries, like what is the CPU utilizations, like I mean like which query is taking more CPU, which query is like so that kind of, whether it is a slow queries or whether so. And also like if you have multiple users, like it can be like showing like which user is consuming which user is executing that query, which user is consuming more utilization on the database. Those kind of things it will be showing.
Okay. So you work on batch scripting, right? On shell scripting. So for
Yeah,
this,
I have created scripts in both batch and shell, like mainly like for initially like in my first company, like so that time like when we are running databases in both Windows system and as well as the Linux systems in the on premises,
mm-hmm.
as well as in the like AWS. Later we migrated to the AWS. So initially, like what we are doing is like since we are running in the like local on on-premise servers. So for taking the backups, backups and some other scheduled activities, like I have created the basket and the shell scripts to take the backups and other activities.
Okay. So the backup part in MySQL, right? What are the tool you have used?
For the MySQL, I have used the MySQL Workbench.
Mm.
Using that, we can take the backup. And
Mm.
there is one more tool called dbeaver, which we are using to, like, a dbeaver is a common tool we can say, like, to connect to multiple databases. So using that also we can take a backup. Apart from this, like, we can use the console to take the backups, like using the MySQL dump and the so that.
So let's have you have worked on 1.5 TB of migration and we have to perform a backup, right? So which tool is
Yeah.
prefer to take a backup in uh, basically in the comparison the fastest which will help you to take a backup in less time.
MySQL Workbench is not at all suggestible. MySQL Workbench and the dbeaver, because those are eval tools and which will be having very less heap size and it will be timed out. So we'll be using console and as I would suggest, let's go with the Linux system,
Mm-hmm.
because compared to the Windows, Linux is faster. And
Mm-hmm.
also, if it is a cloud, let's go with the let's say we if you have a system within the same subnet,
Mm.
then we can have whether it is in RDS or whether it is in the EC2, wherever it is deployed. Like if you have in the same network, then that will be faster. So I think if you go with the Linux system console, that will be the faster to take
So
the backup.
in Linux console, which command you fire to take a backup?
We'll be using MySQL dump, and they will be providing the hostname, username, and hostname, username, password. Anyways, like if we give the hyphen p, then it will prompt for the ask for the password. Then we'll be providing the database name and the file, to the output file name. So output file path will be providing .sql format, and then once we trigger that one, and also we need to use since it is a 1.5 TB, we need to use there is max allowed packet. So
Mm.
max allowed packet value also we need to keep it 512 MB or something like that, so that it can take faster. So otherwise, the process will be slow. So that is
So
using
after
that command, like, will be.
okay, after all these changes, it is taking 3 to 4 hours, right? Is there any
Yeah.
other parameter need to set to reduce that the time in hours or 1.5 hours?
Apart from the max allowed packet, like there were a few parameters
Mm-hmm.
we can use. Currently I'm not able to recall actually.
Okay, have you worked on? Okay, let's leave it. Okay, sorry. So you work on that post migration validation, right?
Yeah.
So what are the steps you follow to validate post migration? The data is consistent, or all the data is transferred properly with the
Yeah.
logins and all.
So
Mhm.
since we have used the AWS DMS,
Mhm.
so using the AWS DMS, not only the data migration, so we can have a we can do the data validation as well. So that will be comparing each and every record from the source and the target. So we have used the AWS DMS, and also like what we have done is apart from using the AWS DMS, so with using the help of AI tool, we have created a script using the JavaScript, so which will be checking connecting to both the databases, mysql and postgres, whether it is it can be any databases as well. We can use that script. So that will compare each and every record from not only using the AWS DMS, like we have created a separate script as well, so just to validate because what we found is when migrating to MySQL to Postgres, there was in the timestamps there was a precision issue is coming. So it is due to the PostgreSQL precision, like it is not migrating as it is ignoring the microseconds. So that's where we are facing the when we are doing the data validation from the DMS, we found there is a data discrepancy. So that's where we have gone with we have created a separate script which will be validating the data validation, doing the data validation. So that's how we have done it.
Okay. So this is your resume. Okay, let's start the technical questions on MySQL, right? So can you explain the
Okay.
difference between SQL and MySQL?
SQL in the sense SQL server or
No, just
SQL?
SQL.
See, SQL is a like structured query language. That language will be used to just to communicate with the database, to
Mm-hmm.
interact with the database, to like let's say we are having a database. If you want to retrieve the data, if you want to insert some data, if you want to perform some activity on the database, so that
Mm-hmm.
for that like we'll be using the SQL language.
Mm-hmm.
And MySQL is a like a database server, so in which like we'll be using the like we'll be storing the data of any up for any application. So, like for the backend, like we'll be storing the data into the database. For that purpose, like we can use MySQL. And in the MySQL server, if you want to do, query the data, if you want to do some operations, like we'll be using the SQL language to get the data or to update the data.
Okay. So next is that what are the acid properties and how does MySQL ensure them?
See, asset properties like let's say we are having a we can have one we can take an example of the bank statement. Let's say like account, if I'm transferring from account A to account B. So like whenever I'm transferring, so whatever the let's say I'm sending some 100 rupees, so the amount should be debited from the account A and should be credited. It cannot be stay in the middle. So it has to be ensured like the transaction is completed properly. And both the in both the places the data should be data integrity should be maintained. So that is the asset property. So that will be achieved by the like MySQL.
So can you define what is acid property? ACID.
A is atomicity, C is consistency, I D
That is isolation, right?
integrity, and D
Durability, right?
durability.
Okay. So can you explain any on this, right? Any transactions that is performing acid property or not performing? What is the impact on the database?
See, let's say like we're having a transaction, so that transaction should when let's say like a transaction is started. Now it is going to update some update or insert or do some activity on the database. Now once it is committed, then the transaction should be one let's say during the commit, like we'll be having like it should update on the database, for the let's say like if you're doing a bank transaction, like during the commit it should update in the both the accounts. Otherwise the transaction should be rolled back. So that is the that is how it should be.
Okay. What of the durability?
Durability. Sorry, cannot recall currently, like it's
It's
been
okay.
long, like I have
That is what does it mean durable?
see, durable means one thing, see, the
Yes.
durable means like what are the changes are the changes should, I mean, the data should not be lost or data should not be
If it is
crashed.
committed on a disk, right, it persist on the disk, right? And you can use
Yes,
lifelong. That is durable, right? If you can use
yes,
anywhere in the world, right, across the world globe.
yes.
Okay. Okay. So have you got chance to work on normalization part? Have you seen this normalization?
Yeah, normalization I have seen, but I didn't got chance to work on it. Basically, like normalization, like will be splitting into like one table into multiple tables, so. But I didn't got chance to work on it actually. Since
Okay.
like I was working on the database administration part, like most of the time, we'll be doing the upgradations and other administrative activities like providing the access and other things. And I got chance to work with the migration part. But didn't got chance to work on the normalization.
Okay. So mainly you are the migration expert.
Yeah,
Okay.
migration and administration.
Okay, not an issue. So we see later if you're not seen the normalization, then you have not work on ER modeling as well, right? Data designing and all.
Yeah, I haven't.
Okay. Have you got chance to work on security settings on MySQL part, SSL, some other?
Yeah,
features?
I have gone like for the like for the MySQL, like I have configured the SSL set SSL at the like server level.
Mm-hmm.
So like what we have like as I mentioned, like I have done the infrastructure setup for the like in the cloud. So during that time, like we went for the VAPT testing. So during the VAPT testing, like we need to enable all the securities for the database as well as for the application. So during that time, like we have enabled the SSL at the which one? Like for the database for the MySQL. So for the like when we say like when we enable the SSL, we need to configure like what we had done is like we have created a one open SSL certificate. So we
Mm-hmm.
have provided the, like we have configured the server level required secure transport. We have to keep it on, and then like we like once we provide these like some. It's been long, but I remember some. I remember that like we had to configure this. We had to provide the some PEM files. So we had to configure at the server level, and we had to restart the server to reflect the changes. Once it is done, like when we want to connect to the server from the at the client also, like we not only we need to provide the username password, we need to provide the certificate as well, so that then only it will allow us to log into the server. Otherwise, if we don't have a valid certificate, then that will not be allowed to log into the server and see the databases.
Okay. Have you worked on encryption or data masking?
No.
Okay. Okay. Let's help me to understand what is the architecture of MySQL.
See, MySQL architecture, like it is a client server, you can client server like architecture, you can say. So we'll be having a client. Then, like when if the client want to connect to the MySQL server, so it will be having a connection layer where the connection is being like connection, like whether username, password, whether it is correct or not, that it will be validating. Then we'll be having the SQL layer where the SQL queries, like it will be validating, like whether that query. Let's say we are running a select query or a set update query, then we'll be having a storage layer. Will be in the storage layer will be having like what kind of storage engine we are using. Let's say like we are having the default one, that is InnoDB, which is widely used. So apart from the InnoDB, we are having MyISAM, and we are having the like archive, and there were some few other are there. So
Mm-hmm.
which storage engines. So and we'll be having the at the end we'll be having the OS layer. So with that the OS only, like uh, like whatever the database files, like it will be stored.
Okay. Can you explain if the select statement landing on the database? What will be the flow logical query flow?
So like if select like first like select is going if you're running the select query on the database, like
Mm-hmm.
if you're running means already the authentication is completed. Now authentication authorization is completed. So now it will be landing on the SQL layer where it will be like checking this in. It will be passing the syntax and everything, and then it will be like uh, go like from the SQL layer when we execute, then it will get connect to the like in storage engine, and it will get like from there it will be like getting the data.
Okay. Can you help me to understand how does InnoDB crash recovery work?
In NoDB crash recovery. Sorry, I didn't remember.
Okay. So you done performance monitoring or something like performance tuning?
Performance tuning, I haven't worked much, but I have done for the few queries. So like there was like once we got a request from the customer saying like they were not facing some performance issue. Like they are saying like query is not it is taking too much time to execute. So that's where we have checked like we have used the explain command to in front of the query to check like where exactly that is going on, and we have identified like they were not created. That table is having large data, and indexes are not created. So that's where like what we have done is like we created the indexes, and that uh, once after creating the indexes, the query is running properly. And one for the Postgres, what like Postgres they were using for one exam, like during this migration, what we have identified, like they were using nested joins in the MySQL. That if we are converting directly nested joins, it is taking more time to retrieve the data. So that's where we have gone with the hash joins in the Postgres. So which significantly improve the performance, because hash join is not going to check compare one by one record. It is going to have a build up a foreign key relation. Example, like it can be a foreign key relation between the to the target table, and it will be uh, like it will search faster. So that's how like we have done it.
So you know the joins, right? How joins work, right?
Yeah, I mean not that much, but
Okay, not an issue. Okay. So explain. You have done explain. So in explain. Okay. So what is different between explain and explain analyze?
explain explain will not run the actual query. If we use the explain analyze, then it will run the actual query, and because it will be like, let's say like we it will run the actual query, and it will give the more enhanced output, you can say.
Okay. Okay. So there's a two schema in MySQL, right? System schema and performance schema. So
Yeah.
can you explain the difference and what is the use of these two schema in the MySQL?
Yeah. So system schema like will be having like whatever the users are being created, whether it is like users or like for the passwords, everything is stored on the system database. Not only that, I guess like what are the parameters also it will is storing. Parameters I didn't remember exactly, but like what I have seen, like for the like users, like users and authentication, and like authentication method or passwords, everything is stored in the system database. And the performance schema like that will be used for that is mainly like it will be capturing like what queries are running on the database, and like how much time it is taking. So all the things it will be storing in the performance schema. And during the upgradations, like we will not, like if we are not doing with the in place upgrade, then we will be suggesting to take the backup of the databases individually instead of taking all the databases. Otherwise, like it, if you take the databases, all databases backup, it will include the system database, and when we restore, it will correct, it is going to correct the target MySQL server. So
Okay. So if you execute that, so engine InnoDB status, what will you get?
sorry, can you come again?
If you execute, so engine InnoDB, right? Status.
Hmm.
So what will you get?
So no, not DB status.
Okay. Have
So
you got
yeah,
chance to modify this my.inf file?
yeah.
So, okay. So before that, can you let me know how will you check InnoDB buffer hit ratio? How can you monitor this parameter?
Mm, no, I didn't remember
This is the
actually.
performance monitoring tool, right? Perform how much queries is hitting that your buffer pool and all, right? Okay, not an issue. So, have you got chance to modify this my.nf file for the performance point of view?
For the performance point of view, I didn't got chance, but I have like modified the my.cnf file for the like changing the parameters, few SQL parameters like SQL mode, max connections, and few other, for the SSL configuration. So that for that parameters I have used
Okay,
actually.
okay, and sorry, in troubleshooting part, okay, locking. Okay, so can you explain the difference between lockings and blockings?
See, locking is basically like the whenever any insert is happening on the table, or like so it is going to lock the table until that insert operation, either it is insert, update, or delete. So until that, like it is going to lock the table. So that is a locking. But blocking, I didn't understand like in what
Okay, so if
exactly
there's a
like.
locking, how can you find any query you run on the system, or how can you check that there's a lockings on the server or database?
Mm, there are some queries to run it like I which I have used like 1.5 year back. Like I have used it like recently. Like I haven't used it. There were some queries which we run to check the table logs and other things. But
Okay,
currently, I didn't remember.
okay. So you work on the index part. You created the indexes, right?
Yeah.
So what are different type of indexes in MySQL?
Indexes. We have different types of indexes. We have the unique index, not index. We
Okay,
I mean
not
like
in.
we
Mm-hmm.
can constraints at like index
Is a constant
constraint.
part, right?
Yeah, constraint like primary key constraint, unique key like not null and check constraints are there.
Yeah. So, but there is a, if there is a primary key, we have an index, right? But what are else other indexes that supported by MySQL?
MySQL plus not the cluster, non-cluster indexes it will be supported.
Okay. So this index part. Okay. So what is the default isolation level of database in MySQL?
And default isolation, no, I didn't know.
Okay. So okay, if you get a call from, if you see that there is a spike, a CPU spike, how will you start monitoring and how can you resolve this?
See, let's say we are having a CPU spike. Then first I'll be checking the process list.
Mm-hmm.
From the process list, I'll be checking like what are the which query is taking. Like try to find out like is there any queries which is running more time, which is running from long time or not. So I'll be checking that one for the process from the process list. And apart from this, like if it is mainly like if only if it is a if it is installed on a EC2 or like any VM, like I'll be checking is apart from the database, is there any other processes which is taking time, sorry, which is consuming the CPU or not? So that I'll be monitoring.
Okay. So as
Mostly
you,
like if it is only database, then from the process list, like we can identify which query is taking and why it is like then we need to troubleshoot like why it is taking. Like,
okay, as you work on migration part, right? So let's have
yeah.
a scenario. We have to migrate database, right? So which tool you use to see that schema conversion on database migration conversion?
See, we have a tool called AWS SCD.
Mm-hmm.
That is a schema conversion tool, which is a open source. We don't need to purchase any license or something. So, which is supporting like multiple databases schema conversion, like whether it is a MySQL to Postgres, MySQL to MySQL, or MySQL to Postgres, or MySQL to MySQL.
Mm-hmm.
So, multiple databases, cross databases, it is supporting. So, we can use schema conversion tool for the schema conversion, AWS SCD, and we can go with the like DMS, whether it is like we have the like DMS, it is supported in the all like AWS, Azure, and GCP as well. GCP I didn't work on, but AWS and Azure I have used the DMS. So like it is DMS it is supported, so we can use the DMS for the data migration.
Okay. So which factors influence you to choose that AWS or Azure?
See, it depends on like where exactly the server is located. I mean, like if we have the server in the AWS itself, then we can go with the AWS DMS, AWS DMS. And let's say like we have support servers in the Azure, then we can go with the Azure DMS. And if we have servers in the on-premise, then we can see like which cloud currently the customer like is using, like whether they're using the AWS or they're using Azure, or with the target. The target is let's say like if the target server is on the Azure, then we can go with the Azure DMS. If your target server is on the AWS, we can choose the AWS DMS. But in case of on-premise, we need to set up a VPN setup, site-to-site VPN, that is a like we have used for the AWS for the connectivity between the on-premise and the cloud. So that connectivity like we have to establish so that like we can connect the when we are configuring the AWS DMS, we need to deploy a replication instance. From the replication instance, we have to connect to the source and the target server. So if the source is on the on-premise, then we should be having the VPN connectivity, so that site-to-site VPN connectivity, so that on-premise server we can connect from the cloud.
Okay, how will you decide lift and shift or replatforming or re-architecturing approach for the migration?
Yeah, so it let's say like we need to and check with this customer how critical their application is, how much downtime like we can they can provide us for during the a cutover. So based upon that, like we'll be check and also we'll be checking like how big their database is. So by checking all these parameters, like uh, we'll be finalizing the approach, whether we are going with the bulk migration or whether we are going with the bulk mig- like we are going with the replication. So let's say we are having whether it is even we are going with the replication, like first we'll be doing the bulk migration, and then we are going with then the replication will be there. So there will be two options are there. So in that way, we'll be, by checking these parameters, we will be checking where we'll be coming to the solution, we'll be finalizing the approach, whether we're going with the bulk migration or the replication. There is
Okay. My sorry. So have you got chance to work on query writing part in MySQL?
no, not that much.
Okay. So we work on Postgres too, right?
Yeah.
So can you explain the background processes in Postgres?
See, background processes, like let's say we are running any select any query. So by default, Postgres is going to allocate one background process, one memory we can say one memory process which will be running on the background. So for each where we let's say we're running one query, so that will be having one connection will be used, and so that will be having one background processor running until that is completed. Then that will be having.
Okay. Other than this, any other background processes?
Other background processes currently, apart from this, I didn't.
Okay. Have you got
No,
chance to install Postgres?
sorry.
Have you got chance to install Postgres?
Yes, yes.
So after installation, what are the default databases created in instance?
After will be a Postgres database is which is created.
What about the temp 0 and temp 1? Sorry,
Temp zero, temp one,
template 1, yeah.
generally it won't visible when we normally see,
Okay,
and
so
normally if we see then, but if whenever you log into the database, Postgres is the data default one it will be created.
okay, so can you differentiate
And
between template 1 and template 0?
can you just allow me a minute? I need to connect my charger.
Okay, okay. Let's take it. So my question was, what are sorry, I forget. Or what are the default table spaces in Postgres?
Table spaces. I didn't know. I didn't know actually.
No, if you install, you see the table spaces as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I didn't know actually. Don't want
Okay,
to say I didn't remember, but I didn't know.
okay. Any troubleshooting you have done in Postgres in an environment?
Troubleshooting. Troubleshooting. I didn't remember exactly. I mean,
So how
we have.
how long you are using Postgres in current or previous project?
See, currently we have a project for the internal. We are having one. We're building a product. So there, I was just like. Doing the RDS. We are having an RDS database, so I'm just integrating with with the Kafka currently to capture the CDC using the Debizium tool. So that integrations I have done, and apart from this, I have integrated with the AWS S3 and the Lambda, and
Mm.
as well as the Debian. Like with three approaches we have integrated, we are trying to capture the CDC from the Postgres to which will send it to the Kafka so that like application can access the CDC part.
Okay.
So that integrations currently I'm doing, and during this time, like there was some issues arised when I was just doing the CDC implementation using the Debian and Kafka. During that time, like I was doing the troubleshooting from the database end as well as the Kafka end.
Okay. So I think I have done right. Praveen, right? I forget your name. So Praveen, I have done from my
Yeah.
side. Do you have any question?
Uh, no, Shailesh, like I just wanted to know like how like what kind just wanted to know more details about the some details about the project so that in case if I missed if I didn't know something then I can prepare if I get a chance.
So basically, your primary skill is MySQL, right?
Yeah,
So in
MySQL.
MySQL, yeah. So this project is, I think, for my understanding, this is a shared resources they are looking for, right? Because they have more than four RDBs, right? MySQL, SQL Server, Postgres, and Oracle too. Yes, Oracle. Yeah. So this is a huge requirement, and there's a bulk requirement. We can say that. So candidate that is having experience on MySQL and Postgres or little bit on different secondary databases, right? So I think that is everyone prefer, right? And that is totally depend on that RM and delivery manager or that HR panel and all is totally based
Yeah,
on that ratings and all.
yeah, got it.
Yeah, anything else?
No, Shailesh.
Okay, thank you, have a nice day, bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.